Hello, I'm Kevin Church, and this month for July 2023, we have Philip B. Brooks as our MUFIC Songwriter of the Month. How you doing, Philip?
Thanks, Kev. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you again.
You too.
Hadn't seen you in a long time.
It's been a while.
So, other than when we were eating the other night.
Exactly right.
Bumped into each other. But we always ask our writers where they got to start. Were they influenced by a musical family or who their earliest influences were? So if you could just tell us.
Yep. So my father actually played trumpet when he was younger. My sister played piano. We had a keyboard in the house growing up, so I actually was able to self-taught keyboard, just basic chord structures and all that. So a lot of music growing up. Actually sang in a choir when I was young. And heavy musical influences for me personally, bands like U2, REM, Leonard Skinner, Jimmy Buffett, folks like that had a heavy influence on my songwriting early on.
That's a gamut of different genres and styles. I mean, just that's wild. So,
Yeah.
and I can see how, because they're all good. The people you've mentioned are all very good at what they do. So when did you start playing an instrument yourself?
Yeah, so it was actually 1989 was a significant year here in Charleston, South Carolina with Hurricane Hugo. I was stayed at a friend's house out there on Johns Island. We took the brunt of the storm, got through that, but I actually picked up my first guitar at a pawn shop. And actually, he was a guitar player. We spent a lot of time in the evenings after cutting trees down, learning how to play guitar, and it was just a blast to be able to learn that and to work towards mastering it.
Wow, that's so cool. So you're cutting trees by day and playing at night?
That's exactly right.
That's so wild, man. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they were down, right?
That's exactly right. A whole bunch of them.
Good Lord. So you started playing. What was your first song? Well, so you just went from playing, learning, trying to master an instrument. Now you're writing songs. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, it was. I think once I got down my first three chords, the song came pretty quickly, and got hooked up with a good friend of mine. We ended up creating an acoustic duo called One Red Pony.
Okay.
And we used to play all over Charleston, places like Cafe 99 and T-Bones and Cumberland's and places like that.
Wow, that's great. And how long before, like after you started learning, were you doing that?
We're at about a year. Was downtown actually playing.
Man, so how old do you think you were at that time?
Too young.
Too young?
Yeah, 1990. That would have been 23.
Wow. So you're just like hitting the ground running.
That's right. Yeah, still at College of Charleston. So working full time in the hospitality industry, going to school and playing music.
Not a bad life.
Not bad at all.
So tell us about that, like your journey with that. You were playing, you said, did you say Windjammer too?
Yeah, we did Windjammer, Miskins, the Trawler, kind of all over Charleston.
That's great. Do you have any stories you'd like to share about maybe Windjammer or any of those places, like back in the day, what it was like?
Absolutely. So my very first gig in Charleston was at the Windjammer, and had a packed house. Went in there with my guitar, which was a right-handed guitar that was restrung as a lefty with a D. Markley pickup that it put underneath the strings. And when I went to go plug it in, the pickup dropped out of the guitar and rolled off the stage, so I had no electronics. So the crowd was very aware and pretty tough on me. But that was my very first gig, and actually figured it couldn't get much worse than that.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty rough, man. That's a lot different than a coffee shop somewhere and that falling out. You're in front of all them people on a stage where Hootie's played, Sister Hazel, Edwin McCain, all of them, man. Driving and Crying.
That's right.
Even then, they were hitting it hard over there.
That's right.
Getting their start. So you you were able to bounce back, get back. You were like, if I can get through that, I can get through anything.
That's right.
And you continued writing, continued performing.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell us more about that. Like, what happened from there?
Yeah, we did several years at the acoustic duo around the Charleston area, and then actually started a youth band at a local church here in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
Four guys you wouldn't think would get together, end up getting together. We actually recorded our first CD back in '95. Had a blast together there. Prior to, us taking on a new role, got into heavy manufacturing after that, and then started traveling across the country.
Okay. And while you're traveling, are you still writing, like writing songs and playing much at all, or?
Did some open mics when I was down in Florida.
Okay.
Still writing at that time. Actually had a season where I was living in Utah for a few years.
Oh, wow.
That was a season where no songs were written, interestingly enough, but then transitioned down to Georgia. Mm-hmm. And started writing again. Actually, the song that we're going to do today is a song about living in Georgia. But we were able to get back to Charleston about 7 years ago, and it's really good to be home.
Oh, well, welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Right. So, what about your process of writing? We'll talk about your song here in a second, but I want to get our viewers in tune with your style of writing. We ask people, like, is it lyrics first, or melody comes to you, or you got a riff you're playing and you start wanting to map something around that or work something around it? What's your style? What's your go-to when you're writing?
It's definitely coming up with a riff first. It's always been a combination of chords or a lick. That's always come first for me, followed by a melody, and then followed by the lyrics themselves.
Gotcha. And off camera, I gotta say it. We were talking about this guitar you have. Can you tell us about your guitar? That's this famous guitar that has it's been retired, if you will.
Yes, it has been retired. Actually, the guitar that I referenced initially after Hurricane Hugo came from a pawn shop. I've played Ovations since I started playing. I've actually got 3 of them. This first guitar, I had lived downtown Charleston in an apartment. And worked at the Omni, Charleston Place Hotel. And I was a bellman, was there 11 years. And as bands would come through, I'd bring my guitar, get to know the tour manager, and have that inside connection. And I've gotten lots and lots of signatures on there. The first one started with B.B. King. And we have folks like Jimmy Buffett, Black Crowes, Metallica, Skid Row, Eric Johnson. The list goes on and on. It was quite the story around that guitar. Every interaction has a unique story, which has been a blast. But we finally got that shadow boxed several years ago, and it's not to be touched again.
Wow. So who was the first after B.B. King? You said something on off camera too. I just want to make sure they hear, because what was the name of the song you played for some of these folks?
Yeah.
It was the first one you wrote, is that right?
It was the first one I wrote. Growing up in the Low Country, going to the College of Charleston, the numbers were in a guy's favor back in the day. But the song was called I Like Girls. It's just a 3-chord riff.
Nice.
Had the opportunity to go see Leonard Skinner, which was a bucket list of mine. And,
wow.
That was up in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Because I was at the Omni, I got a free room in Charlotte at the Omni there. Went to see the show. Incredible bucket list checked off. Go back to the hotel, and who do I meet in the elevator? It's Leonard Skinner. And I had my guitar. Went up to the room, hung out with them. Had a big time. They actually signed the guitar for me, as well as we did some jamming together, and they got to hear I Like Girls. And, they had a blast.
That's so great, man. I want to make sure they got to hear that, because it's just too fun, man. So tell us about, we're going to swing it on into the song we're doing today. That's what I'm doing here, segue into for you. Mm-hmm. So tell us about the song that you said we're going to do today. Mm-hmm. It's called My Georgia Road. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. I actually wrote it soon after I arrived in Georgia in 2015. Got 2 daughters and had moved them around the country. starting in '09, multiple states. They were essentially in, elementary school and getting ready to get into high school, junior high school and whatnot. They were around that age, and it was not easy on them in particular. And we built a house out in the country, a little town called Fortson, Georgia, and my office was in Columbus, so it was maybe a 25-minute ride every day.
Right.
The song is about, interestingly enough, folks think it's some type of Georgia anthem, the song, but it's actually exactly the opposite. It's about getting the heck out of there. And it's about coming home to Charleston. So I think the lyrics will resonate with some folks.
Okay. Gotcha. So I understand that you recorded this in Nashville. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So how did that come about?
Yep. So I had a youth band at our church that I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The drummer actually had moved out to Nashville, I believe it was about 8 years ago, and he's now a songwriter and had been working with a producer, and he's got several songs out there. And we ended up, about this time last summer, reaching out to each other on a Sunday afternoon, started exchanging texts. I had no idea he was songwriting. I was able to share with him, and we shared with each other some of the music that we had. And he asked me to give him a few minutes. He reached out to his producer, connected me with his producer, and by that Tuesday night, had booked travel out to Nashville to record those first 3 songs.
That's fantastic. And you got more brewing with this guy?
That's right. So we've got 6 recorded today. I'm actually flying out next week to do 3 more.
Wow.
The plan is to get 12 songs recorded, and then we'll see where it goes.
That's fantastic, Phil. So today we have Karen Egan. She'll be sitting in playing viola with us, and I'll be playing bass with you. And I'm looking forward to jamming. It's going to be fun. It's so good to see you.
You too. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming on our show.
Absolutely.
And is there anywhere that you want anybody to check out? Like you said you got some music out there. So what's your website or something? You want to tell them where to go check it out?
I just started a new YouTube channel, Philip B. Brooks, Philip with 1 L. Just released the first music video, which is of My Georgia Road, filmed in Irvin and in Charleston, and the songs are streaming there, and really all streaming platforms have the music.
That's wonderful, man. So go check him out, folks. Philip B. Brooks, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
You see my mind's eye, you feel my heart grow. You see my hands glide, you feel my soul unload. I twist and turn through those shades of pines. I hope the next turn leads me to my home, my Georgia road. I close my eyes and that breeze takes over me. I'm hoping to unwind, your curves will steer me. I twist and turn through those shades of pines. I hope the next turn leads me to my home, my Georgia road. My Georgia road. Your lines can't stop me, your rails won't hold me, but I'm begging you, don't let me go. It's time to hold on tight. My wheels are slipping. I'm driving through the night. My wheels are slipping. I twist and turn through those shades of pines. I hope the next turn leads me to my home. Your lines can't stop me. Your rails won't hold me. But I'm begging you, don't let me go. My Georgia road, my Georgia road, my Georgia road.
MUFIC sets you free.